Hello and welcome to the Patrons Golf Masters preview. This is the first type of show we're doing for this brand new site that I'm launching. It's going to be fantasy, it's going to be betting, it's going to be analysis, PGA, live, everything. And for the first one, I wanted to bring on a special guest, a fellow golf tragic, a fellow golf nuffy. We've both been heartbroken betting on golf. We've both seen the other side of it, but Alex Lobianco, good friend of mine. Thanks for joining me, mate. How are you going on the best week of the year?
Thanks, mate. No, very excited. Kid at Christmas is pretty much the way everyone wraps it up, right? Like that's how we're feeling. Yeah, it's cool, man. Like my interest and my involvement in golf has been probably different to a lot of people our age. Like a lot of people get into their 30s and 40s and are like, let's get out of the house, play a couple of rounds. But I just go the opposite, and I'm like, this is my couch potato phase where I just can sit in front of the TV, get up early
Yeah,
in the morning, like so. Yeah, Masters for me is one of very little sleep, one of a lot of coffee. But
yeah,
yeah, just pure joy, mate. Like it's exciting to just watch a tournament, and yeah, just be excited to see what's going to happen next.
100%. I was saying to a friend of mine yesterday, he's like, "Is this not the best week of your year?" And I was like, "It's actually not really a week. Like, it's probably 2 weeks. Like, I start watching all the old films. Like, I watched the Greg Norman 30 for 30, and like just because I want to feel something emotionally, like I want to feel the heartbreak for him, and you go and watch all the old old Tiger wins and all this kind of stuff. Like it really is like a 2 week thing. Like I've got a sickness, but then it really does start when they do the on the range stuff where you're kind of watching guys just you're watching guys just hit balls 120 yards for 2 hours, and you just like
Oh mate,
you can't take your eyes off the screen.
for real, it just lulls you into a kind of trance-like state. I mean, they zoomed in on Scotty's grip last night for a good 15 minutes, and you're just like, I'm
I
so
was watching,
interested, but
yeah.
it's like
You're so
crazy. But yeah, I do
fixated
get
by
the
it, yeah.
yeah, I do get the 2 week thing. I mean, the Rory like doco is coming out a couple of weeks ago. There's one on Prime. There was another one on the Masters kind of YouTube. Masters YouTube has been like tattooed on my TV for a good couple of weeks. Like there's a
Yeah.
Ken Griffey Junior photography one, which is really cool. There's one on the concessions and the food. Like they do it really well, just in terms of that content and building the hype. Like you said, it's more than a week. It's the lead in, which is really cool and really exciting.
Well, it's that kind of tournament that kind of hits all of the right spots, right? Like it's like the aesthetics, it's the history, and it's like one of those things that just it never changes. And so
Mm.
you're always drawn to that, like the Masters dinner, or the cabins, all sorts of the azaleas, like everything kind of stays the same. Whereas I guess everything else kind of changes. Like the Open is probably my second favorite major, and that rotates, right? So you're like, oh, I love seeing them play at St Andrews, and you're like, all right, cool, we'll see you in 6 years. It's like it's that one
Mm.
thing every week. It's almost like a continuation. It's like a safety. It's like a comfy
Yeah.
blanket. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
definitely. The old traditionalists are like, as far as traditions go, like I feel like we're in an era where they just get thrown to the wayside or they get changed or adapted like
mm,
somewhat. And it's like, every year the Masters are going to roll around. They're going to release the menu of the food. The price is going to be the same. And we're just
yeah,
going to get excited about it because it's the same. Like the
yeah.
consistency of it is just like, that's the classy bit where they're so consistent. And it's like, this is cool.
No, 100%. A question for you. I know it's probably a hard one to narrow down, but do you have a favorite Masters memory or a favorite story?
Yeah, my best one actually is probably 2013. So bit of personal background, like I'd been in for a knee reconstruction and was coming back through recovery. And I don't know if you've gone through that, any other people listening have gone through that, but it's pretty grinding and it's like a lot of medical appointments and going in for checkups and all that kind of thing. So I had a checkup on the Monday morning, as we do over here, and I was watching Masters on a Monday morning. So pretty much just sitting in a waiting room, watching in a doctor's surgery corner TV, Adam Scott go through one of these like high leverage moments in his life and his career, and I was just cheering the Aussie as you do. I think we
Mm,
all get particularly patriotic at that time. So, yeah, just one of those ones that's pretty vivid for me. I was like watching this little corner TV in a doctor's waiting room and just didn't even get up for a couple of hours. I was like, well, he's in a playoff, so I'll just hang around here.
mm. Where else am I
But
going to
just,
go?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Super proud, man. Obviously we've got nothing to do with the victory, but as Aussies, we're like, wow, getting it done on a big stage and like really cool way to do it. Super backdrop, I think. Like I just remember the rainy kind of
Yeah.
afternoon it was at Augusta. It's like that really set a scene which was different. We're used to seeing colours pop and kind of good lighting, and this was just dreary, like
Mm,
grindy times where you got to make a putt. And yeah, that was one of the coolest victories I've seen. Like just pure joy from a patriotic standpoint, and like yeah, just a really like suspenseful watch at the death
mm.
as they all kind of
I
are.
know. I feel like Cabrera plays that villain role really well because
Mm,
he wasn't like a big name, and it was just easy for Australians to be like, I hate you. Like I hate you if you win this and take because we got so close and in so
mm,
many tries before. Like it did kind of feel like not that we were cursed if we want to look at the Greg Norman side of things, but like
mm.
an Australian had never won it, right? And we had had like such a
We can top
rich
five pretty
history.
well. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We were top five, and but then it was kind of it. But yeah, no, that was a special one. I've got a really unique favorite master story, which is it's a very new one. So
Mm.
this time last year, on once Rory hit the back nine, um, my wife and I found out that she was pregnant, and that in itself is obviously a very interesting time to find out. Because
Yeah, that's some interesting timing. Yeah.
I had a very large ticket on Justin Rose to to win, and so I had this complete elation of him going on a run, finding out I was going to be a father, and then having my heart completely shattered in in the by Rory in the in the playoff. But like it's just a day that will, obviously, like I've lost plenty of bets, I'll lose a million more, but it was just that whole morning is just like something that I just will genuinely never forget about. I think like
Mm.
outside of that, if we want to look at another probably my other favorite memory is probably like this 2019. Like I feel like I remember where I was for every shot he played on Sunday.
It was
And
such a weird like timing too. Like I'm pretty
yeah,
sure me and a bunch of mates went to the casino at night time to watch it just because just
yeah,
because of timing with weather delays and stuff. Like yeah,
yeah,
bizarre final round for sure.
yeah. I was living in Canada at the time, and like I just remember it so vividly. Like just thinking like every male in my age demographic is crying right now with me. Um, but yeah, look, um, let's crack in. There's obviously a lot to get through. Let's have a look at the storylines. Is there a particular
Mm.
storyline going in to this year's Masters that kind of stands out to you?
Yeah, for me, there's three key ones. We've kind of bounced around a few, but the first one is probably the Scotty fastest um, to three wins kind of storyline,
Mm,
and people cheering him. He's obviously just had another kid, and I mean his game hasn't been off this year, but it's not as sharp as it has been over the past couple of years. So
mm,
that's probably the one that stands out at the top. The second one is just the Bryson hype train, like
yeah,
he was close enough there last year. He's kind of talking himself up a little bit this year, and then I don't know. I feel like there's just natural kind of death riding towards him, and people are just always not going to like him, and he's polarizing, whatever. But yeah, then those two big dog kind of storylines are the main
mm,
ones. And then the last one is just the sub story of the Morikawa injury. Like, you and I are kind of in the betting game, and it's like, well, this guy's drifting out to a huge price. Like, is he going to tee it up? Is he going to be able to get around? Like,
yeah,
um, that's definitely been a one that's front of my mind this week is like make miscut, any kind of matchups involving him. Like that's going to be interesting.
Mm.
So from a bit of a wagering angle, they're the kind of major ones that have come up for me.
Yeah, well, that Morikawa is one that I had because, I mean, he's getting, he was touching 50 to 1 on Betfair at some point, and like he's hit balls 3 days in a row. He hasn't hit many. He hasn't hit many drivers. Didn't play in the par three contest, and I think the notes around his practice rounds have been he's just carried a wedge and a putter, and so it doesn't look good. But the that price for him, like considering like all these metrics and how he's played this year, is like you almost have to bet it. You have to bet one side of it, right? You have to bet the miscut, take him on in the three balls and in the pairings,
Mm,
or you have to bet the outright of that price. I think
mm,
kind of ties into what the other story for me is that if we look at the top echelon of guys in this field, I don't think anyone I don't think anyone really stands out. Like I think there's a lot of question marks going in for a lot of people. You know, Rory, if you want to look at it, there's some like nasty stuff with the tabloids, and there's the history around guys going back to back, and
mm,
he's coming off a back injury as well. Scotty, second kid, hasn't played in a few weeks. His first round stuff has been pretty average. Once he gets to the second round, he's Scotty Scheffler. But
mm,
and then if you want to also look at the live angle, John Rahm and Bryson are kind of beating down on that tour in the last month. But some of those courses kind of look a bit. I don't know. I'm not going to say I could shoot a good score on there because I couldn't shoot a good
mm,
score anywhere. But they're not playing on the same level of courses that the PGA Tour guys are playing, and so they
mm.
just it just feels to me like it's almost one of the most wide open Masters for some time. And then I think the last storyline, which we'll probably touch on when we kind of break down the field, is the weather conditions are looking like it looks like it's going to be fast, it's going to be firm, and I think it's going to bring a lot of guys outside of this top tier into play. I've certainly bet a few guys kind of outside of that, historical group. You see these trends and stuff, right? Where it's like,
Mm.
here are the 30 players that can win. And I think the Masters is like the most predictable tournament because of who's won. But like, I can't ignore some of the prices on these guys, which I'll kind of touch on a little bit later. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be very interesting day one, that's for sure. Because like there's gonna be some big scores, I think that's for sure, and it's probably gonna get harder and harder to score as we hit the weekend.
Yeah, I'm quite excited. Like you speak of conditions, it's a good one in the way that it sets up quite even. There's no AM PM wave bias. Like we'll be fine there.
Mm,
I think the course by Saturday Sunday is going to be great for Aussies. Like it's going to play like I don't
yeah,
know
absolutely.
Royal Chinder is the course up north where I used to play, which is just a hard dust road, man. You can hit putter off that and it'll just run about 200 meters. So it's just going to be Aussie hard and fast kind of. We'll run it up there. So I'm excited to see how our crew go. I think they're in a really
Mm,
good space at the moment. Like selfishly, a storyline as Australians is we should be pretty up and about because Adam
mm.
Scott, Joe Day, Min Woo's playing the best he ever has. Like, and then Cam can just pull anything out of Augusta. So even one of those suede jackets like he rocked out of there.
Yeah, Cam's an interesting one, isn't he? Because obviously, he has the win over Rory at St Andrews, and it's right. Some of that golf is like I'll never forget that. But
Hmm.
he went to live, and I don't think he's won on live.
I
I'm
reckon he's
not.
relaxed. He likes the laid back nature of it, which you can't kind of begrudge
Oh
him for that. Like I don't blame him,
no,
but I kind of think he's got that sleeping giant in it. He can pull that out when he
yeah,
really gets it going. So that's where I'm optimistic with
mm,
him. I mean, if I I could trust him with my own money. I don't know, but I like tuning him
Yeah.
because I know he's good at inning.
No, absolutely. All right, let's go into a bit of a breakdown of that top tier of players. I reckon that's probably from Scotty to maybe even Justin Rose if we wanted to do the cutoff
Yeah,
price there.
perfect.
Is there anyone that's kind of, I guess, standing out to you in terms of the prices here from a positive or negative standpoint?
Yeah. Like the first one is positive, which is lights up as soon as I look at this market is Ludwig. Um, I think like seeing his first couple of performances at Augusta, it's like this guy's just going to be one of those guys that goes back there every year and does well.
Mm.
I think this is the best price we're going to get Ludwig for the probably the rest of his career going back to the Masters. Like, um, I think he's going to be one of those guys where Scotty and Rahm and McIlroy are at the moment. Every year, you don't even really have to look; they're just going to go up between $9 and $12, $13. So,
Mm.
I think that's what Ludwig will become. Yes, you're taking a bit of risk there. Like he's 2026 hasn't been the strongest start you'd like to see, but I think it's on the right side of the trajectory. Like that's moving up for me. Like his game's in a really nice shape. He's so nice to watch. I mean, yeah, you can watch his
Aesthetically
team.
is, yeah.
Oh, beautiful, man. And when you got a backdrop of some nice like azaleas or
Mm.
magnolias, like that's it for me. I'll just put the TV on pause and just look at that for a little while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very happy to get involved there. I'll probably look at Scotty's price day two. Like I think that's been a play for me over
Mm.
the first little bit of this year. Is like I'm not super excited to jump into $7, $6. Like no
No.
thanks. But after round one, like if he's 15 or $20 or so, he's capable of chasing down 8 strokes to the leader or whatever it
Yeah.
might be he's behind. Like he can really lurk, and if you've got a ticket at $20 on the second day rather than six going into it, I'm happy to get involved there.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I've done that a couple of times this year already with Scotty. Yeah, like some of the prices and even I'll get your opinion on this, like even you see like the betting without market, which is, super popular. And obviously Scotty in most of these PGA events, especially early on to start the year, he's like $4, which is just like,
Hmm.
I don't, I could never stomach that. And I've seen a lot of people kind of going and almost taking him on and going like, yeah, I'm absolutely gonna, I'll take him on this week. But then there's another side of it where a lot of people are going in that, betting without Scotty Scheffler market, where I feel like you're killing so much of your value when you got a
Mm.
guy who's so short. You're losing so many points on some of the bigger players. But I don't know if you had a thought on, what you do
Yeah,
personally with that market.
yeah. I personally never really bet it. Like it's not one that I can trade really well, so I'd rather just leave it alone. My advice to people who are looking at it is like you said, if you can see value there, if you're going to back someone at hundreds, 150, like that's where it probably suits because you're not losing so much chunk of your percentage value or your EV. That said, like first time kind of swings into golf betting, or if you're, part time casual kind of watcher, you can still get Ludwig at like $13 there. So if you can take him to get second $13, I mean that's going to give you
Mhm.
a bit of interest and a bit of excitement as well. So different strokes for different folks, mate. But yeah, there's definitely some value if you're going to take big prices just for a bit of fun. Like, yeah, why not take 11% of the market out and try and play against the rest? I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm looking at this outright here, the one that kind of sticks out to me is Matt Fitzpatrick. I think we kind of spoke about him, I guess, before we started recording, and how you'd been kind of betting him for a while, and
Mm.
he had a little bit of a weird a weird kind of form turn, but yeah, like for me to kind of see him at like he's at 25 at the moment, like that price just seems way too big for me.
Mm.
Now I haven't bet it yet, because I'm already on Xander Schauffele, and so I didn't want to have two of the guys kind of in that top tier. Um, I would probably save myself to try and get involved maybe with Scotty tomorrow or one of these other guys if they
Yeah.
have kind of that slow start. But with the way
Yeah,
he's
gotcha.
with the way he's played the last month, I think he's probably the only player maybe outside of Cam Young who's actually coming in to this with no real question marks. Cam Young's always going to have some question
Mm.
marks, just based on his, I guess he's had a obviously great year, but there was kind of a 2 year stretch where we kind of were left wanting more with
Yeah.
him.
I feel like with Fitzy, like the secret's out with Fitzy, right? Like he's got a
Mm,
solid game for any major. Yeah, I really liked him at the Open last year. The question mark, like if you just take him out and look at him as a player, the question mark's kind of his putting, but he's got
mm,
pretty good like history here at Augusta with the flat stick. Like he can
mm,
he can pick up some shots putting there, which is hard. Usually you see bad putters get found out even more around here, but he kind of holds up pretty well. Not that he's a bad putter, but that's kind of his spot in his game. The rest is pretty solid, but that
mm.
fluctuates. But it seems like he's got pretty good history here. So yeah, I don't have a bad word to say about him. He won't be on my card, but yeah, he'd be one that I'm worried about. I think he's pretty solid for a top 10, top five. I personally try and like really narrow down as to I don't want to find a second or third here. I want the winner. I want to get that.
Mm.
I want to get the big ticket winner here. So I do kind of narrow the focus in when I'm approaching it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is there anyone in here that you're looking at going, that price is absolutely poison? I'm not touching that.
Yeah, look, it's hard to come up with a kind of lay list, right? Like you can write people off at your peril going into
Mm,
the Masters.
mm,
Um, Brooks has been the big drifter. Like Brooks, not that he's in this discussion because his price is so big, but there was once
mm.
upon a time when people like he's moving it well. Like he could be contending. I just don't see how he gets anywhere near this. That's one that's already kind of
Yeah.
drifted. I think he, was into as much as like 20-1. Like he
Mm.
was he
Yeah,
was
which is
he was in this conversation at some point, which was kind of crazy. But he's similar to Cam, right? Like
yeah.
he has that potential hidden away somewhere, just digging it out.
Yeah.
But in terms of that, like these guys are this price for a reason. And like I couldn't talk you out of Rahm at $13. I couldn't talk you out of Rory at $15 if you want to go for
Mm.
that. Like they're that solid that they could easily just go 5 shots in front in the first day, and then they're half that price. So if you like the strong guys, like they're priced pretty well. They're priced efficiently. These Masters markets are pretty cookie cutter. You're going to get your real solid top tier guys around these price
Yeah.
points every year.
Yeah, no, look, I agree. I agree completely. The only player who I think is probably gone a little bit too far, and I think that's probably on the back of last year's Masters is probably Justin Rose.
Mm.
Had a really good start to the year, and I think a lot of people kind of piled into his price then. And it's kind of just stayed the same. You're getting under 40s for a guy who is in his 40s. Um, and look, you can see like in the last couple of years, he's had some pretty big swing changes. And like it's absolutely worked for him. But I mean, heading into I think it was Pebble Beach last year, he got a second. And like his game was kind of a little bit nowhere before then, but I think like if we're kind of comparing him to Fitzy, Ludwig, Xander Schauffele, Bryce, and all these guys, doesn't it doesn't feel like he should be in there. Bobby Mack is
Mm.
probably I'm in the same boat there. I do wonder though how he will go, obviously, with the fast and firm conditions. You kind of always, I guess, think about him when you think like extreme golf conditions, obviously, where he's grown up playing golf. But
Mm.
yeah, look, I'm pretty much on the sitting on the fence with you there with most of these guys. I think they're all priced right. Um, yeah, Schauffele was the only one I kind of wanted to get involved in. But everyone else, I'm kind of happy to just have a look and see what they do after round one.
Yeah, it's interesting that hype around Rosie. Like yeah, he started well, and last year, sorry, was just a one out of the box where there was like, this is crazy how well he's gone. Even the final day, like you're saying before, like
Mm.
he just popped up. Like he wasn't on the commercials going into
He was
round four.
nowhere.
Like
No.
he was nowhere. So he's got that in him again, but I don't think he's like scrambling and around the green games where it needs to
Yeah.
be. Like I'm pretty big on that, and especially this week, like you're going to get shots that run off the green. You're going to be chipping out of these big valleys and ravines and whatever else. Like you're
Mm.
going to have some pretty tight lies there. So I don't have much confidence in him contending. Like if he comes out and makes a fool of me, then all power to him. But yeah, I don't know if it's the year. Like I don't know if he's set up that well. The one guy like on the polar opposite around the same price is Patrick Reed.
Yes.
So
Yep.
he's around the same price, and if you're lining those two up for me, it's not even a discussion. Like where his game's at, where his course fit is. Like we'll get into picks later, so
Mm.
I'll get on the Reed train there. But yeah, in terms of price point, like there's such different profiles at the same price.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. He had a, I think it was for maybe CBC. Oh no, sorry, it was for the DP World Tour Twitter account. Rose kind of did this video where he was driving into Augusta, just kind of talking a bit, and he did mention that he came up last week to Augusta with his short game coach. That's how you know you're good when you've got a
Hmm.
just an actual short game coach. And he played around with his short game coach, just kind of in and around the greens. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, it was very interesting to hear his mindset. He was just kind of like, I guess almost acknowledging that it's going to be one of those weeks where you're going to have a lot of different shots around the green in your kit bag, and
Mm.
having an opportunity to go up. He's like, well, it's almost like a no-brainer. But yeah, look at that
Mm.
price. I'm definitely staying out. I actually found a bet my in my account on Patrick Reed at 60 to 1. I've no idea when I
So,
placed that.
ah.
I'm that's how you know you've had too many bets and you're just finding random bets. But look, I'm very happy to have that ticket at the moment. He's
Oh, nice. One
absolutely,
to shake you out of the washing, mate. Oh, here he
yeah.
is. Like,
Where's this ticket? But
how
look,
good.
he's smoking the DP World Tour.
Mm.
Which yeah, I'm obviously not I'm not super invested in that tour in terms of I guess how competitive it really is. But look, we've seen a couple of guys come from there in the last couple of years. Like Penge,
Mm.
if that's how it's pronounced. He
Yep.
came from there, and Christoph Reiten. So there's been a couple of guys who have had really good tours, really good years who have come over to the PGA Tour this year, and
Mm.
do look the goods for the most part. But let's move on to the rest of the field, which obviously there's kind of that middle section of guys, and then there's obviously the last group of guys, which are basically VJ Singh, Mike Weir, Olafable, and for some reason Brian Campbell, who won twice last year on the PGA Tour, but
Yeah.
is priced with the guys who don't play competitive golf anymore. But we'll stay with the
Look, man,
middle.
like, yeah, like just on the big prices, I go through an exercise every year in the Masters where I definitely try and make a case for 1,000 to 1. At the end,
Mm,
it's $5 to win a fortune. So,
yeah.
like, I try and find something, just a glimmer of hope. There's not really much there. The only one who I will probably have my, you know, annually $5 1,000 to 1 bet will be Rasmus Nygaard Peterson. Um,
Okay, that's interesting because well, I'm going to speak about him a little bit later. Yeah, I
Oh,
like it.
nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I won't take your thunder there then, but yeah, it's just a nice exercise to go. Well, can I make a claim for any of these guys at
Mm,
millions?
yeah.
It's a bit of fun there, but yeah, when you say you go into like the second, third tiers here, few blokes jump off the page for me. Siwoo Kim, which is I know one of your favourites as well. Like,
Mhm.
you're getting a really good price for a guy who's in red hot form and goes around here well. Has had
Yeah.
plenty of experience here. It's just a cool guy to watch. Like,
Hmm.
I think he's pretty funny every time he steps out. Something kind of happens. It is an experience if you buy a ticket, so it comes
Oh,
with
it
a
is.
disclaimer.
Yes, it does. There's a massive asterisk next to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun. I mean, you might be taken on an emotional roller coaster. Probably don't have any fine china or glassware in the lounge room while you watch.
Plastic cups only.
But yeah. But the price point is enticing. Like I again kind of divert back to people who are betting golf for the first time in a Masters. Like to turn your money into 50, 60 times that, he'll give you a
Mm.
fair shot at it.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Like I'm I'm all over I'm all over Siwoo this week. Like I think 9 previous starts. We haven't seen the best of him at Augusta. Last weekend, last year, the weekend at the Masters, he gained almost 3 strokes putting. Putting is his Achilles heel. All his approach numbers are, like second, third in the world right now. You could make a case like he's in terms of like pure ball striking, like he's one of the he's one of the top guys going in. One of the things I think is the most interesting part about Augusta is that the average winner, I guess, they don't gain a super amount of strokes putting. If you're looking at say the Open or the PGA or whatever, it's the Masters is always the lowest. Rory lost strokes putting last year and still won, and so I think that brings the non-generational, you know, world-class putters into it. That's why we've seen
Mm.
Corey Connors have such good results in the Masters previously, as I think it almost levels the playing field. And so if some of these guys like you see Woo or you Connors have just good weeks putting for them, like a lot of these elite putters kind of get brought down back to earth. And so that's one of the reasons why, like as you're saying, like the price point for Siwa is just outrageous for someone who strikes the ball like he does. So
Mm.
I think
I would
he's
say like it's a good point you make. Like the good putters coming back to the field. I tend to partner them in with your strokes going around the green or scrambling.
yeah,
Um,
100%. Yeah.
if you can be tight around the greens, like, and if you can be pretty handy, obviously it's going to make your putts a lot easier.
Mm,
But the adverse as well, right? Like if you're terrible chipping and if you're doing a Chris Bowen, skinning it over the green, you're going to be putting a few times. Like
yeah.
it's going to be coming back a few times. So I think a lot of people get into trouble there, um, and just completely scull it off, and they've got yards rather than feet of putts.
Mm. There's there's a player in here who I really don't enjoy watching play, and most people don't
Can
enjoy watching him play. He's
I have
probably
a guess?
you can have a guess, yeah.
Is this going to be Cantlay?
Look, hear me out on this. So obviously the uh the fast and firm conditions I think have really opened up this kind of next group for me. And there's a couple of players in there that I guess have some good numbers. I'll just get them here. So
Yeah.
if we're looking at green and regulation accuracy, difficult over the last 2 years. Cantley's a top 10 in greens and regulation. He's a top 10 in strokes gained for approach. And he's in there with guys like Rahm, Scheffler, Cam Young, and Schauffele. And look, I'm not sure exactly what his Masters record is. He's had top tens, he's contended, he's been in and around a lot of Masters. And like that's one of
Mm.
the things, right? It's like, when Hideki won, Hideki was kind of a very similar kind of player. He'd been in and around a lot of Masters experience, and I think like you're getting triple digits for Cantley at this price, and I think if we're factoring in there's going to be some chaos like with
Mm.
approach play. He's a pretty boring guy. He'll stand over the ball for he'll stand over the ball for 3 minutes, but he'll hit the green. I think he's got. I hate myself for betting it, but I I
Yeah, I
have
lost a
to.
little bit of respect for you, not gonna lie.
That's fine. That's fine. Most people lose respect for me pretty quickly, but yeah, like and you look, there's a few guys in this price range. If we want to look at that, go, who are guys who are
Mm,
just kind of like really good at really good at everything
hanging
without
around, just hanging
hanging around.
around, man.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing,
Yeah,
Beetlejuice? Just hanging around.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
That's me. You can't lie.
JJ Spawn is kind of he's obviously just come off a win. Um,
Yeah,
somehow, I don't know how he won that, but Corey Connors is in there too.
yeah. For me,
Jacob,
like
mm,
that guy for me, like, and you know, partially as like we said before, kind of patriotic Australians, but that guy's J Day for me. Like,
yeah,
I just
100%.
see him as such a like gritty kind of grindy, hang around there kind of
Mm,
guy. And the fact that he can get pretty hot with the putter, and the fact that look, his game's in pretty good shape. Like, you look at his greens in reg, and he's playing pretty solid golf at the moment.
mm,
So, yeah, he's one again that, yeah, like you say, is at 100 to 1, and it's going to bring those guys closer to the leaders if it does get really really hard.
mm,
But I will take J Day every day over Cantlay.
yeah.
Cantlay for me is just like he's a menace. He'll tip you out of the top 20 if you got a good ticket on top 20.
Mm,
He'll tip you out of that spot,
mm.
and he'll just kind of hang around when you don't want him to. Just ask Brooks. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, he's got a good kind of record around here in terms of experience. Like, probably hasn't shot the lights out. I mean, his best finish is a ninth.
Mm.
Um, but he, we kind of, like we talked about at the start, we kind of talked about finding the winner. To get a ninth at Augusta is a massive achievement, and we kind of
Yeah.
dwell it down because it doesn't mean much to us. But I'm sure to him, he's probably pretty stoked. Like, he's stacking up top tens and top 20s, which, yeah, at
Mm.
the end of the day, gets you a fair bit of coin, which he likes as well.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think one of the most interesting things, and you see this week, is like it's all the trends and stuff, right? And one of the trends I was fascinated by, and I did a little bit of a deep dive into it, was the I guess like it's like, oh, it's like in the last decade, every winner made the cut last year, every winner, finished in the top 20 last year or whatever. And I think like that's such a narrow focus on what success is at Augusta. And right, so
Mm,
I had a look at guys who missed the cut and like had success next year. And Patrick Reed, when he won in 2018, he missed the cut the
mm,
year before. Justin Rose missed the cut in 24, obviously came second last year. Um, Koepka did the same, missed cut in 22, came second in 23. McIlroy missed cut 21, second in 22. Spieth did it. He had a fourth. Bryson had a sixth. Cam Young had a seventh. Like, and this is all in like the
mm.
last 5 years. So
Yeah,
there's going to be guys who there's going to be guys who missed the cut last year who
yeah,
find success, and like as you said, like a top 10 at Augusta is success.
yeah,
And
definitely. Yeah,
it's probably a good way to segue into probably the guy I'm outside of Siwoo have bet the most, and
mm,
it's Nikolai Højgaard.
hmm.
Um, I have twins at home, so I'm always going to support twins, but I'm only going to support one of them this week. I think uh, he missed the cut last year, but there's so many things going for him right now. I think like
Definitely.
just in terms of like pure aesthetics, you look at both of these brothers play, and you're like, one of these guys is winning a major at some point.
Agree.
Um, Not sure if it's going to be this week, but like I bet him top five, top 10, top 20 outright.
Mm,
He's 12th strokes gained for approach. He's 15th strokes gained tee to green. He had a 14th year the year before after missing a cut. Um, we kind of said with the putting, right? Like it brings kind of these guys, I guess, into play. They only need to have a good
mm,
a good week putting. They don't need to be lights out. And I just think for this week, we're really hunting pure ball strikers.
mm,
And to get a guy with those kind of numbers, he's around the 70 to 80 mark at the moment, but
Yeah.
Look, I'm very, very bullish. His first round props have been absolutely smashed. Have been bet off the board. Probably missed the boat on that point, but I think that's a guy who's really set up really well this year in that
Yeah.
second wave of
He
group.
definitely features on my card as well. I took a little bit of triple figures
Mm,
him Masters a couple of weeks back. Um, I was kind of watching him play at the Players and had a ticket on him there, and was a bit frustrated just with his like tactics and approach. Like he kind of
yeah.
plays really really safe, and like when you need to you know gain some strokes on the field and you need to start making some
Mm,
birdies and scoring, like he just wasn't doing that. He was far too conservative, and that was kind of light bulb for me. That's like this guy's got a longer term plan. Like this game plan around Augusta
100%.
is perfect. He's
Yep.
killing me week to week whilst I'm tipping in, but
Mm,
um,
yeah.
come April, I think that's going to hold him really steady. And yeah, read your piece on LinkedIn around the miscuts and the bounce back factor there. I
Mm,
think, like, I think the fact that if you can partner those miscuts with experience, I don't really give him much of a significant kind of, discount that I would in other PGA events. Like, I
mm,
do heavily weight miscuts in course history for a player, but not so much here. I think you can
mm,
take your medicine and be like, well, yeah, I got punched in the mouth and missed the cut, but once I come back here two, three times, then I'll be in a much better place. So that doesn't really concern me with him. Like, yeah, he's got the miscut and the top 20 to be a pair of kind of Masters results.
mm.
Um, in comparison with his brother, like his brother's fireworks, man. Like his
Yeah.
brother's going to be fun to watch. He's
Mm.
a bit more of
Well,
that Bowen
one
and
way or
Gooch
the other.
style, and
Mm,
yeah, he'll like even I love talking about Bubba Watson just because he's fun to watch and he's one around here because he can do so many like erratic or out of the box things, which is Rasmus and the Rasmus experience.
mm.
But I'm going with the safer brother, the more responsible twin. I'd
More
say he'd probably
responsible twin. Yeah, which
he'd be
I'm
the one pulling him out of bars late at night and getting him home safe. That's him.
yeah, I'm very much finding out about the responsible twin at the moment. I've got
I
one
hope you've got
psycho.
one because it's not
I
you.
got I got one I got one who's a little bit crazy, one who's not. But no, look, I
Perfect,
like
good
that.
combo.
Yeah. Um, is there anyone else in this group that's kind of speaking to you, or is there? Are we
Yeah,
good?
just
Are
the
we good to go
one.
onto the bombs?
No, just the one which is similar to Nikolai. Like you're taking on a bit of potential and you're taking on upside here, which is Jake Knapp for me.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to hit the celly. Like I kind of want to send a photo to some people when he wins a
Yeah.
Masters with that. That's a bit of
Mm,
the attraction for me. But no, I do think that he's got crazy amount of ability, crazy amount of upside. Like he's one of those younger guys who's exciting to watch. And um, yeah, again, the fact that it's going to run out a lot, he could be like his driver could be up there with most of them. Like he's one of the longer guys. He's going to get pretty decent run out. He putts really well.
mm,
I think he's a play, man. Like yes, you do take on a little bit of trust, and he could bomb and go 8 over and miss the cut, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I think the ceiling's a lot higher. So he's the one I've bet in that range
yeah.
as well. And I don't mind the price to be honest. Like
Mm,
for a bit of that unknown, like you're finding out at 90 rather than probably 40 or
yeah.
50 bucks where I'd probably price him.
Yeah. Look, I'm a massive nap guy, and I bet him quite a lot. I haven't bet him this week, almost probably because there hasn't been that. If he had a top 20, top 10, I'd be probably chips in.
Mm,
But yeah, I don't know. I've been burnt by him. I've had both sides of the coin, right? Like I've had the first round leader where he, sets course records, and then I've
mm.
had outrights in that same event, which he's ended up trying to
Yeah.
play. He's trying to play balls from the water, and then I start crying, and yeah. But
Yeah. I think
no,
the
look,
one
I
thing
can't
like that
fault
stands
him.
out for me, like, yeah, not much master experience, one start for a 55th. Like, but we haven't really spoke to it, but the main kind of sentiment you'll get from most of the media and most of the preview guys from Masters is how you currently going and your form
Mm,
year to date. I mean, he's got five top tens and an 11th. Like he's got six top tens and to start the year. Like just a crazy start to the year to be like
Mm.
going that well as kind of a younger, guy on tour and pretty fresh out there. But it feels like he's a bit of a hunter, a bit of a winner.
Yeah, and look, I think he could be that player uh, on the weekend, right? That actually is able to kind of put up a score just because of
Mm,
that, that you almost see him like he has these like his real like dart, like he gets the mini driver out and he just like he's just it's like it's safe.
mm.
And these things just roll and roll and roll and look, I think like aesthetically he's one of the easiest golfers to watch. So yeah, look, I could see myself getting involved, especially if we're going to see the chaotic, I guess, conditions that it looks like it's going to play. Like if he's 5 or 6 back heading into Sunday, like that's the type of player I'm kind of targeting. At that point, I'm kind of
Mm.
throwing the experience out because I think the experience really factors in on one things, but there's also like the pressure element. Like if we go back to the Greg Norman thing, like Nick Faldo is a real steady Eddie kind of player, 6 shots away from Greg Norman. He hunted him down, but he didn't do anything, right?
Mm.
He just played golf.
Tiger the same. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You just like you just choking them out, right? You just got to play the
yeah,
patient long game. And
yeah,
if there's a time where it's a bit of a hinge moment and you just got to put the foot down, like that's
mm,
where I think you see the real like
yeah,
Masters champion. Like that's the biggest test. Rory failed it the first time around last year. Was lucky to get second chance in the playoff and just
mm,
dominated. Like just threw one in there when the bigger moment was, and that was his kind of championship moment. So yeah, that goes into my thinking as well. Kind of an intangible, right? Like you can't measure that, and you like don't know those guys, but enough of them you can kind of put a line through as just non-winners and don't have that in them.
yeah. No, absolutely. Let's go on to my favorite part of every golf tournament. I bet it's the bombs. Like you kind of spoke about it earlier. Who are the big prices that you're looking at to give a donation on?
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of a free hit, right? Like if you're willing to get involved and have a bet, like you're willing to lose your money. So it comes with that disclaimer, like this is $5 or $10 that I'm just chucking out the window. I
Mm,
don't expect anything from it. You can expect it, like if you want to get trading in and you want to start looking at betting and laying, then this is a great opportunity for that. If you can find someone who's just going to play a good first round and keep themselves in it when the rest are kind of struggling, that's a play. Yeah, we mentioned him before, Rasmus Nygaard Peterson. Just kind of first hand story of being at the Australian Open and watching him against Cam Smith and
mm,
Siwoo, like pretty big stage. Up and comer who's had some really nice results on DP World Tour and then first year on the PGA this year, but solid player, man. Like he's got a really nice all round game. He drives it a mile.
mm.
So yeah, one of those ones who I'm just excited to see how he goes around here. Like one of my big stats around Augusta is distance to apex, so how high you can hit it
Yeah,
off the tee, and he is in top five of that.
yeah.
He will get the ball up in the air and it'll go a long way. So yeah, fun one to watch at 1,000 to 1. I mean, I think he'll at least shorten for you and can trade out at a much smaller price.
Mm, yeah, no, that he's one I've had. I've taken him top 20 and top debutant. Um, I think that market itself is so interesting to bet into this year because we've
Mm.
got we've got some really really good Masters rookies. We've got a Masters rookie who had 3 wins last year. We've got a Masters rookie who has 4 wins somehow, and then we've got Jacob Bridgman as well, who is
Mm.
like, I'll be honest. I think we could see Bridgman kind of implode if you look at his numbers around the green. It really does worry me. And yeah, he's strokes gained, all his putting metrics is kind of around the top or at the top. uh, that's gonna become neutralized, and I think like he's gonna have to really figure out a way to yeah, to get up and down, which I think he's going to struggle with here with the
Yeah.
conditions. And I think you're taking a flyer on some of these guys as debutants. Another guy I'm pretty bullish on this week is Sam Stevens. Um,
Yep.
has some really good putting numbers on bent grass greens. Um, is probably not what you would consider a true rookie. He's I think he's at 7 or 8 major appearances before, has made the cut in most of them, has a couple of, around that 25, 30 finish.
Mm.
I think you can, for the price you're getting him at, he's not in the thousand, he's kind of hovering around that 400 to 500.
Mm.
Look, you definitely spend $5 worse. I've had a lot more than
Yeah.
$5 on it, but yeah, like
Yeah.
I think him, Rasmus, another one who's probably not what you would consider a bomb, but Tyrrell Hatton. Um,
Oh,
I've had a couple of shakes of the tree at.
have you?
Ki- Kind
You
of kind
messaged
of
me after, and I'll give you a price for Tira, and it'll be bigger than anything you can get out there.
okay. Well, there you
I
go.
can't see him going anywhere near it this week. That's probably one we don't agree on, but
Yeah, no, that's
um,
okay.
all the better for a bit of cash business, mate.
Yeah, look, I've got to give my money to some people. But
I'm happy to take it too.
yeah, look,
No,
I
it's
think,
interesting that you mentioned that top debutante market. Like it's a cool week, the Masters, in terms of like just coming up with a few of those novelty ones, and like there's top debutante, top leave, top amateur, top Aussie's always a fun one to kind of look around. Top pass winner.
mm,
Um, so yeah, interesting if like you're just more looking for a recreational play, like you can find some real value, like $21 for Rasmus in that top debutante. That's a pretty cool bet to cheer around.
yeah, that's a
That
no.
market itself, like if you're looking at the market, it's heavily weighted towards 2026 form. So Goddard up and Bridgman are at the top.
Mm,
The Panchu's another kind of bomber. Harry Hall's your steady Eddie kind of putt man.
mm,
There's a good mix of players in there. So there'll be a few which are suited at like 100%. There are a few that will be not suited at all, and you'll see just melt and miss the cut.
yeah,
So yeah, nice little one there. Um, yeah, I don't really have too many other 1,000-to-1 plays for you. If I did, I wouldn't be doing this with you. I'd probably be in a bigger house with a cruisier job, mate. But
yeah,
yeah, they're fun to play. And
mm,
like I said, yeah, those other markets can be quite interesting. I mean, the top Aussie's always just one that's fun, and we talked about it earlier. We're in
mm,
such a good spot in terms of us cheering our patriotic hopes, and I think we're going to see a pretty good showing for some Aussies this week.
yep,
I know all the kind of local books are doing promos of top 20 kind of multi boosts and that kind of thing. So another good one for the recreational.
mm,
My pick in that market's Jay Day. We've already kind of talked about him, but
yeah,
yeah, I see him kind of lightening up this week.
yeah, and has had master success.
Mm.
You for a long time, probably looked like the guy to get the green jacket over Adam Scott. But yeah, look, I can see him absolutely having a good week. Let's go to obviously we've probably had a million picks, so we're not going to have to go through all of them. But
You have don't reel me
I
into
can't
your
help it.
shortcomings, mate.
I
I
can't
try
help
and
it.
stick pretty clear in my plan. I
Yeah,
I stick to my bankroll. I stick to my guys. That kind
yeah,
of tightens the screws on my process for me. Like
yeah,
if you're 5, 6, or 7 on my list, then you're not getting in.
yeah. That's a good
So yeah,
approach.
I will pick the eyes out of those other fringe markets, like I said, maybe for some fun or maybe for
Hmm.
some syndicates with some mates. But my main guys are pretty locked in. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Who are the main guys?
main guy is Ludwig. So yeah, he's my kind of main play. I think I'd be a fool to not take this price, and
Mm,
um, I'd be surprised if he's not in contention like last year. He was in contention without seeming like trying. He just kind of fell into the right place, and I was like, wow! All of a sudden he's punting in behind Rory and Bryson there, but couldn't really seal it. But yeah, I think the way he plays and the kind of demeanor and player that he is just perfect for Augusta. So yeah, I hope it's 26. He's getting that green jacket, but it'll be somewhere after that. But yeah, happy to step into him. Second pick on the ticket is P Reed. I don't like to jump into the hype and believe it, but you can't not. Like my kind of strategy towards golf betting is players that fit the course, and he's probably one of the best course fits there is in golf on any course at Augusta. His history is amazing. His 26 form is better than it's ever been, and you just can't go past him. Well, I can't. So I've played him pretty heavily as well at a nice price. And like we said, I think with these picks, you're hoping for the best round one, and you reassess coming into round two,
Yeah,
and you might be a bit
100%.
different. But yeah, pretty happy to be pegged to those two as my top two.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, my main guys are Siwoo, Xander, and Nicky Højgaard.
Yeah.
Those are the three I've bet into probably the most. And then yeah, that next wave of guys I've got taken a little bit on Sung Jae, a little bit on Adam Scott, and yeah, that bet on Patrick Reed that I just found in my pocket. Are kind of the is kind of the next tier, and then yeah, I've just kind of got a real
Mm.
smattering of top tens, 20s, and first round leader is
Mm.
kind of a similar group, but yeah, look, it's a super exciting time of the year. Like I always I always expand kind of what I do for a major. Maybe not for all the signature events, but for the players. Um, there's no real process behind that. I just
Yeah.
it's a fun time.
Vibes
So
guy. Real vibes guy.
I'm a vibes guy. Yeah, like
Yeah.
will I be betting like this at the Zurich in a couple of weeks? Absolutely not. But yeah,
I
look,
think
to be honest,
that goes without saying, right? Like, I'm hoping, most people have a bit of a strategy. Like, yeah, you just
mm,
obviously everyone's hoping to get a bit of a return, but you attack it in different ways. I definitely approach, majors in different ways, and am a bit happier to get involved. So I'll probably take my guys down top five, top 10, top 20,
mm,
just because there's value there for me. And then, yeah, I'll probably have a couple of fun bets as well. I mean, those guys that I like at bigger prices, we've mentioned, yeah, Nick Højgaard. I'll probably have something on Rasmus just because I seem
mm,
to always be on the wrong end of the twin brothers. They've got something
yeah,
against me, but that's fine. And yeah, Knapp and J Day will be my other two picks. Where yeah, I'll play those top five, top 10. Kind of goes without saying. Like if you haven't bet into these markets, you can get your fingers burnt.
yeah,
Your dividend will
absolutely.
get sliced up depending on what you take. So be careful with that. It's something that I don't love. It's the typical like horse race kind of punters,
Yeah,
story. Like I back it each way and it comes fourth. You will back a top 10 and he'll come 11th, or you'll back him, top
mm,
20 and you'll have to slice it up five times. So
yeah,
comes with a bit of caveat for those that don't usually play golf. Um, but yeah,
yeah.
that'll
I think
be,
that's a really good thing because you've got because most books will have the top finishes including ties and without, and I think this is probably a tournament. It's going to be lower scoring. This is probably a tournament where you're almost probably you take you take your bite of the sandwich and go into that including ties market because there is that possibility that you are going to have to chop it up like five or six times.
mm,
Um, and I also think like there's like we want to talk around like a strategy, right? Like there's every course is going to have like I guess key stats, and you have to you've kind of mentioned a bunch of yours. I think you got to try and find I guess what your key stats are
mm.
going to be, playing
What
for the
your recipe is,
conditions,
mate.
what your recipe is,
Definitely.
and then look for value. Like look for guys who, what, they might not tick five boxes, maybe they tick three. Like Sanjay is a perfect example of that. Top 10 in par five scoring this year on the PGA Tour, as a couple of top tens at the Masters. And you can get him at 200s right now.
Mm,
You know, he was I think he was into like almost like $1.80 in the run a couple of weeks ago and lost. But that's a really, really difficult golf course he was playing on and playing absolutely lights out on. And so look,
Mm.
like that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Is I'm looking for a couple of guys who tick a couple of boxes that you can
Yeah.
kind of make a case for at a big price. So I think there's when you've got the I guess when you've got the resources, and we kind of mentioned, I guess, probably like a few places in terms that do a lot of this really good golf data and golf analysis.
Mm.
There's this information is literally at your fingertips. And
Mm.
yeah, look, it's going to be a fun week. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, hopefully I can afford to pay my rent after this week.
Hey, you'll be fine. I'm sure of it. Last
Mm.
question I got for you. You mentioned taking a bite of the sandwich, which did set my mind to a place. Are you an egg salad sandwich or a pimento cheese salad
Oh,
sandwich there?
pimento. I messaged a friend the other day and just said I've just a sudden urge to like eat 15 of them.
Oh man, I'm gonna have a
It's
bowl of the stuff in my fridge in about 3 hours.
yeah, like it is. And you know what? Outside of this week, I wouldn't even think about eating an egg salad sandwich. But this week is a week where I'm kind of like, do I lean into that? But ah,
Stop at
look,
the amp hole. You just want
it's
to do it for close your eyes for a little bit, get a peach iced tea.
yeah.
It's the experience, man.
No, I'm big on the peach iced tea, so I've got that covered. But yeah, no, definitely pimento cheese for me. I'll finish up with a question for you.
Yeah.
Uh, how much damage do you think you do on the merch tent if you go to Augusta?
Yeah, that's a good question. I did get to Portrush last year, went to the Open, and I
Mm,
gave myself a budget walking in, and I did not stick to that budget.
yeah.
Um, so that would be a thing for me. Definitely at the Masters, I'd be a dangerous man with a credit card. Um, I don't know. You kind of go in with a strategy of you're like, I want two hats, I want two t-shirts, and I'm going to really like stretch out on a nice little hoodie or a spray jacket or
Yeah.
something.
And
I
and
feel
you
like at
leave with
Augusta,
eight garden gnomes.
yeah, a couple of key rings. You think of
Yeah.
gifts for other people that just hang around your house. Um, yeah, that'd happen. I'd have to say a grand would be my starting point at least, and
Yeah.
I'd hope I could get my items under that. But you don't know what you're going to find, man. Like you said, there's
No.
garden gnomes. Who knows what they're going to have, man? Cleaning gloves. Um, those little brushes for your putter that or your wedge that you might need but never use. Um, you get lured into some weird
Some
objects, I
weird. I
reckon.
can imagine. I reckon I'm dropping. I reckon I'd go three to five. I'd be in that range. I'd go nuts. I would go.
Yeah,
I'd go crazy. And
yeah. Full new suitcase to come home with you. Yeah,
yeah, my wife would know that, and I think she'd be. I'm not saying she would. I'm not saying she would be upset with that, but she certainly wouldn't be happy. But like, I would
she'd
go.
be upset. This sounds like you're justifying your irrational behaviour here. So I'm pretty sure she'd be upset.
Uh, nah, she probably will be.
But you'd have a nice a pink magnolia t-shirt, and that'd hopefully
Exactly.
smooth it over.
Exactly. She'd have a brand new hat. Look, Alex, thank you very much for taking the time. Incredible chat. We'll definitely have you on for another tournament, that's for sure. Um,
Yeah,
enjoy
I
the
really enjoyed it,
week.
man. Excited for the week.
Enjoy the week.
Sounds like me and you might go back and forth with a couple of side bets here. I like the Adam Scott J Day head to head for
Yep.
might be a coffee and a breakfast down the road. So yeah,
Yep.
look forward to it, man. Thanks for having me.
All good, mate. Thank you very much. Have a good one.